This episode is brought to you by Dr. T's Primary Care for Men and Women, Rody's Country Fried Chicken, Eddie Ruiz Coronado with FFA Financial.
Hi, I'm Darren Woodson, and you're watching #PVT.
Here with Mr. Darren Woodson, were you on that Super Bowl team your rookie year, or was it
Yeah.
How did that affect your mentality? Because, your first year and you won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Did it kind of mess with how you thought about the game? Was it good? Was it bad? Or was it both? How did it affect you?
I think it was a little bit of both, good and bad, because when you go to the Super Bowl your first year, you think that's the expectation. Mm-hmm. I expected that. I knew as a 21-year-old rookie that how much work that this team actually put in. So I was a young guy watching Troy Aikman and Michael Irvin and Emmitt Smith show up early and stay late. So I got that early on. That was ingrained in me. The bad part about it was that I was spoiled.
Yeah.
And I didn't like to lose. Losing was not a part of, and I don't think anyone should like to lose. I didn't like losing. No, I don't think anyone liked to lose. But it was really hard for me to adjust when the team was falling later on in my career, 96, 97. We weren't the same team. The personnel wasn't there anymore, and we were going 5-11. It took me a long time to adjust, and I had high expectations, and I held the players to a high expectation. Mm-hmm. So there was a lot of going, back and forth with me because I was a little upset about how the players approached the game and how the coaches approached things. So I never felt comfortable after that 96, 97 year until Bill Parcells came in later on in my career.
Speaking of coaches and strategies, so you had a lot of great coaches. If you had to say, what is the one thing that a coach needs to have or that you want to see in a coach? If you were going to hire a coach, let's say you own a team, what is that one thing you want to see that maybe all the coaches you ever had, that talent?
I would say two things. One would be, can he lead men? Can he lead men? And I say that because not everyone can be a leader of men. Not everyone can walk into a locker room of 53 different personalities. Most of the egos are huge in the NFL locker room.
Right.
And can you get them to buy in to one common goal? That's a coach. Mm-hmm. Getting everyone to buy in to one common goal. And then I'd say a coach with a plan. Because you can have a goal, but if you have a goal and you don't have a plan, it's just a wish.
Right.
And I've been around some really good coaches, and Jimmy Johnson, who had a plan. He had a game plan, not just a Sunday game plan, but he approached practice with a game plan. He approached the off days with a game plan. There was always a plan in mind. And then Bill Parcells later on came in and was the exact way. He knew every little thing about the game, knew all the nuances, knew all the referees that we were going to have on Sundays. There was always a plan that we could fall back on, because I'll say this, Charlie, one thing about the NFL, and people don't realize this, is that the talent level is really close, extremely close. Yes, you might have a Tom Brady who's that unicorn that's out there, but the level of talent that's out there is so close that you can't afford to make mental mistakes. Mm-hmm. It's not the physical part. You're going to get your butt kicked every once in a while, physically.
Yeah.
But when you make mental mistakes, they cost you. And the coaches that can train the players and coach the players not to make the mental mistakes and have a plan, they're the ones that normally win. That's why you see a Bill Belichick always find a way into the big games, because his team has a plan.
Yeah, you were there, and from your first year to when you left, I think I know what you're going to say, but I'm going to ask you because who knows? Jerry Jones, did you see him? Okay, he's changing his style. he's becoming, because it looked like maybe in the beginning him and Jimmy Johnson, maybe they talked a little too much. Maybe it wasn't enough. Mm-hmm. But did you see? Okay, this guy's maturing. Did you see a change in him throughout those years, or he was always the same guy from day one till the last day you left?
No. Early on, I think with Jerry Jones early. First of all, Jerry Jones is the greatest owner I've ever been around, and I feel like is the has pioneered the game as far as marketing and advertising. There's a reason why the NFL is where they are right now. It's because Jerry Jones put them on the map as far as marketing, advertising, the network deals that they have, the huge network deals that they have out there. That's Jerry Jones. The one thing I would say about when I first came in the league in 1992, Jerry was more involved on the business aspect of the Dallas Cowboys, not as much hands-on with the team. Jimmy Johnson ran the team.
Okay.
He was there day to day. When Jimmy ended up leaving and there was a separation, Jerry got more involved with the coordination of the team as far as the draft was concerned. It was more of the GM then, and took on a much larger role. But, look, when I look at Jerry, I look at him, and it's hard for me to. I've worked at ESPN for 14 years. One thing I could never do was criticize Jerry Jones because I knew his heart.
Yeah.
I knew that, like he takes a lot of shots, and, and he'll tell you in a heartbeat, I should be taking these shots. We haven't won a championship in 20-some years.
Yeah.
But I also know the man's heart. I know the fact that when players are down, former players need some help, he's the first one. He has an open door policy. And it's not just Jerry. It's Stephen Jones. It's the entire Jones family that just welcomes Charlotte Jones, who just welcome you with open arms to help in any way they can. They're huge in the community. They do so much as far as giving in the community that people take shots at them all the time about the football part of it, and I get it. But when you know the man's heart and you know the family's heart, it's a little different. It's a little different deal.
Right. You were the last guy to leave. Because I played with Troy Aikman and them, man. You were like the last Cowboy.
Yeah.
As the years went on, did you think, the good old days? And did you miss those good old days? Or every year was different, and every year was just a different obstacle?
Yeah, every year was a different obstacle, and you can't go back in the past. What happened in the past is over with, and then every year you're a different team. You're a new team.
Yeah.
It doesn't. And Jimmy Johnson used to start the season and tell the entire team, hey, what happened last year? Fun. Go rub your ring, Super Bowl ring, go hug your trophy and all that. But now it's over with. We all start at zero, and we gotta put that plan together to win another championship. And that's how every season was. Everything changes in a new season. New players come on. You have new coaches that every once in a while that are coming on. Sometimes you're transitioning from a whole entire coaching staff to enter the season. So. Every season is different, and the expectations should be different as well.
What's the tipping point? What's the thing that the Cowboys need to change in order to really make it into the Super Bowl?
They need to be a top 15 defense.
Okay.
Offensively, they'll put points on the board. I think Dak Prescott and what we saw in last year with him having an injury and the injuries up front on the offensive line decimated the team. This team will bounce back offensively. They have the talent to do so. I think they will put up big numbers. I think they'll be a top 5 offense in the league. If they can hover around that 17 to 15, I don't need this defense to be the number 1 defense in the league, but I do need this defense to be a top 15 defense, top 20 defense in order for them to compete, because they're going to have to be in situations where they get stops. This is a young defense. They're trying to add to it. They're trying to get bigger. They brought in Dan Quinn, who's the new defensive coordinator, so hopefully that changes up some things. But if they can get stops this year, they'll be a playoff football team.
Talking about players, are today's athletes better athletes than, say, 20 years ago? Or because, there's so many changes in the training and this and that? Or was from 20 years ago, did they have a little bit more grit? Or how would you compare athletes from 20 years ago to today?
That's a hard question.
It is.
Of course, I'm going to be one that's going to say, well, I'm the old dinosaur. Yeah, we're so much better. And so much. Look, if you look at the athletes today, they've been focused a lot of these guys have been focused in just one sport. They've been playing the sport, just one, playing football or basketball or baseball. A lot of them have been so specific in their training. It's different.
Right.
It's a different athlete than it was when I was playing. When I was playing, we fought in a phone booth.
Yeah.
And it was a running game.
Yes.
And the quarterback got hit all the time, like
Yeah.
all the time. Not like he got breezed and there's a flag. No, he got taken to the ground.
Yeah.
He got slapped in the face on the side of the helmet every once in a while. The game was just different. It was a much more physical game. The game has changed. It's wide open. It's like a fast break. They want points on the board. You can't touch the quarterback. You can barely touch the wide receivers nowadays without getting a flag or getting getting a FedEx. We call it a FedEx package. You're getting fined on the weekend. But it's just different. And I think that when you look at the athletes today, they're faster. They're probably, strength-wise, pretty much the same. But the game, because it's such a wide-open game, there's a lot more quickness and a lot more speed on that field than ever before.
Are your Super Bowl rings on display at your house? Where do you have these rings?
My wife, man, trust me, my wif's an architect designer. I don't have a single jersey. I don't have a mouthpiece, a jockstrap laying around. Look, man, I just, my identity has never been wrapped up into football. I have 4 kids, and I want I want them to know that their dad played the game, and that's what I did. But first of all, I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a lover of God. I love my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I want them to see that that's my identity. That's who I am. It's not that I wore a helmet one day. I own 2 businesses, and they work for my businesses every day, and that's how I want to bring my kids up.
On that positive affirmation, Mr. Darren Woodson, I want to say thank you for coming to South Texas. We love having you down here, and it's an honor and a treat to meet you there.
Man, I appreciate it, Charles. Thank you, man.
Thank you very much.